Good morning, Dubai. Welcome back to Lovin Dubai show, where we go through the top trending stories that everyone across the country is talking about. Our top story today, 4.1 billion dirham in Dubai real estate transactions in one day.
Woza. We'll also be talking about Emirates and how they are on a hiring spree.
And His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, Crown Prince of Dubai, is granting wishes, and we are here for it.
And Dubai author Sar Madani, who also works with Lovin Dubai, has written a very relatable novel, and we'll be having her on the show to talk all about it.
But before we get to all of that, good morning to everyone. Thank you, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of you for tuning in. And I put a question to you, but I'm going to start with you.
Yes.
Simran Gupta.
Yes.
Where are you from?
Okay, do you mean
where are you from? Just tell, very first, easy answer.
No, where am I from?
I know, but just easy, quick one.
No, I mean where am I from? Am I where was I born? Where was I raised?
Surely it's a one-word answer.
Or no, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Where was I born? Raised? Where do I?
Because your accent sounds like you're from. It's hard to place your accent.
Okay. Accent thing now.
How often does that happen to you?
So, being a third culture kid, now I was born in India, raised in Dubai, but my story is pretty straightforward. There are people, right? There are people out there who have a parent from maybe Europe, like a European parent. I'm sorry, maybe. Your dad's from Egypt, your mom's from Spain, you were born in Germany, but you grew up in Dubai.
Hong Kong.
Yes.
Flew to Florida.
Yeah.
And now you're in Dubai for uni.
Exactly.
Confusing.
That is so confusing.
.com. But there's confusion, but by the mass. However, it's actually a really common underthread that it's a lot of people. And actually what's really interesting is Sarah Madney, who's going to be joining us in a little bit, she has written a book about, it's relatable to expats who are kind of like, what is my culture? What is my identity?
Yeah.
I say I'm from this country because I don't have a passport here.
Yeah.
But yet I don't feel like I belong in this country where my mum is from, or where my dad is from, or where I'm living. So where am I from?
It's like the identity crisis that all third culture kids are facing right now. That's so major. And your passport, that's the biggest one of all, because it's you may have maybe a Canadian passport, for example, but you're not from Canada. You're probably from maybe Syria. And when someone asks you, you're just you're so confused. You don't know what to tell them. You are actually Canadian because you have a Canadian passport, but then you're originally from Syria, but you weren't raised in Syria. You were probably raised in America, but you're not American. So it's just who am I? What am I? Where do I belong? Where are my roots? What is my ethnicity? So it's just a very confusing question now. It's not that easy.
And you know what the thing is? Those are kind of the wider problems, the bigger problems. Yeah. And then you have probably the smaller things that are less spoken about. For example, if you're moving around a lot, your friendships are changing a lot.
Yeah.
So you don't have that kind of here are my close crew that I've known my entire life because I grew up in the same place entire life, maybe. Or, for example, because your family is in another country, or your sister moved away because you're that type of international family, then you're missing the milestones of your family. So you're missing, the graduation that your sister might have, or the birth of your niece, or, your cousin's birthday you want to go to, but you can't. Because, that they're in another country. So it's there's the wider issues that third culture kids struggle with. And then you also have the smaller, less talked about, but also equally as heartbreaking too.
You're so right. It's not just where you're from. It's also your accent. Okay, yeah, sorry. It is the moving around and the traveling, because you have people all over the world. That's a pro and a con, honestly, because you can't be everywhere at once, but you have somewhere in each part of the world, which is a great thing.
True. Well, pros and cons. And then I think the final one, which might be the biggest issue of all, but correct me if I'm wrong, because I come from a place where I can't relate, but finding a partner and then finding a place to settle down and call home. Because you want to find someone who's got the same culture as you, same family values, maybe religion might come into play.
Yes.
These are all issues. And then it's okay, so where are we going to live? I don't know.
Yeah.
I struggle with that here. Where am I going to live? I don't know.
That's so true. That is so true.
Because love is
Finding
everything.
a partner. Yeah.
End of the day.
Because you seek compatibility, you seek relatability, you seek someone who understands you, who understands your background, culture, religion, like all those things. But then when you're a third culture kid and you don't know yourself, how do you find a partner that knows you?
Yourself.
It's just, yeah. And then, of course, the accent.
What do you mean?
It's like people who have like accents, but they're staying somewhere, but they're from somewhere else. It's like, where did you get that accent though? Where did you get that accent? Where did you pick up that accent from?
It's so true. Maha just said, I'm a native, but I can sound British in a certain way. You know, I was at the gym yesterday, and one of the days, and the trainer, I was going to say, I was like, where is she from? But then I realized she probably gets that all the time. She probably is, because it was a unique accent.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bother her. She probably gets it all the time.
Oh,
It's probably a third culture kid struggle, I realized after thinking about our conversation.
It really sucks that there are so many restrictions into conversations now. Like you can't really ask someone when they're going to have a baby. You can't ask someone.
It's so annoying. I just want to know, when are you going to conceive? What month are you planning on conceiving? And social restrictions just say no.
Exactly. You can't ask someone their salary. You can't ask someone their rent. You can't ask someone where they're from anymore.
Dubai, you could ask rent, because rent is like, I'm either saving big, people love to talk about it, or they're, suckers and not saving big. But yeah, I get it.
Half. And then what do you identify as? Like, I mean, so many questions you just cannot ask, or like you need to rephrase. You need to just do things.
Get you. Just be more open. Maybe.
Be more open.
As in, maybe Instagram Threads will be that place where people are just themselves. It's an open platform. You can take things from all over. Anyway, we digress. It is Wednesday morning. We're so excited to bring you the top news stories of Dubai, as always. If you missed the show and you want to listen later, we also go live in podcast format. Our top story today, Dubai real estate sees 4.1 billion transactions in one day. That's $1 billion, people. The Dubai real estate market recorded 458 sales. These are transactions worth $2 billion, in addition to 98 mortgage deals of $1.29 billion and 65 deals amounting to over $651 million on Tuesday alone. And this is according to data released by Dubai's Land Department.
The sales included 384 villas and apartments worth 386.6 million dirhams and 74 land plots worth 1.22 billion dirhams, while the mortgages included 80 villas and apartments worth 135.24 million dirhams and 18 land plots valued at 1.5 billion dirhams, bringing the total realty transactions of today to over 4.1 billion dirhams, according to a report via WAM.
Now, this news follows Dubai's stock market hitting an 8-year high, with the Dubai index trading at its highest since 2015. So, as Simran mentioned, 384 villas sold in one day, not including the apartments, not including the land deals. They mentioned the mortgage price as well. As we see the real estate sector going from strength to strength, it's also being recognized in the stock market, which we're seeing oil prices rising, which economy as a whole, we're doing well.
And that is so great to hear. It is, okay, so many emotions run through you when you hear this. Number one, 1 billion dirham transactions in just a day. It shows you how Dubai is really like on top of its game, and all the research and data and everything that we've brought to you, statistics from yesterday's conversation on digital nomads, on like it being the safest place, on it being the world's most traveled to city for tourism. We are just topping the leaderboard.
True, but it does beg the question continuously, as we see rents rising, is it the time to buy? Because obviously mortgages here, and I assume the majority of us would be taking out mortgages to purchase, it's pegged to the dollar in terms of the rate rises. So if the dollar rises and the interest rises in the States, it's going to rise here. However, we did have property expert here on the show a week ago, and they see the future of Dubai just continuing to grow. So although mortgages, the interest rate might be expensive, it still is seen as good value in comparison to properties around the world, and properties will probably get more expensive. So it still is seen, according to an expert, the time to buy.
Oh my God. So right now is the cheapest it's going to be.
Maybe it depends on
It's just
area.
gonna keep growing.
But also there's more properties coming into the market as well, so it's hard to know.
And one tip I was given, I don't know why I was given this tip, not like I'm going to do anything with it, but it's like you should always buy property that's up and coming, developing, and not developed or that's already like, up and running, because that's when you get the best value for your money, when it's like you invest in a developing property, of course, because like, that's when it's like at their best rates. Sorry? It's called off plan. No, it's called off plan. Oh my God.
Developing hood, who knows?
Development hood.
No, like a developing hood, like if it's just opened. It doesn't necessarily need to be off plan, but maybe it's an area who, they don't have the mall yet, they don't have the supermarket yet, the school yet, but you see that it could come.
And JVC, they struck gold. Like with the mall coming up and everyone who invested first in JVC, like initially in the properties there. And now it's like they have a mall. It's become such a buzzing community.
Happening for sure.
Yeah. But we'll jump into our next story. So if you're looking for a job, this is the story for you. Now, Emirates is hiring again. And Emirates is about to take on a major hiring spree, and Dubai Airline announced that they are looking for cabin crew, pilots, engineers, IT professionals, and customer service agents.
A spokesperson for the airline said, "Our focus on recruiting the best talent, the brightest minds, and those who most fit the various roles that will support our drive for future growth and expansion," in line with the story that we just told. We are using the latest technologies such as digital assessments, artificial intelligence, and other top-notch recruitment systems to shortlist, select, and respond to candidates in the most efficient and effective ways, i.e. they're probably getting a lot of interest from all over the world, because obviously they recruit for cabin crew from all over the world, but they're going to use the latest technologies to ensure that they shortlist, select, and respond as efficiently as possible.
Exactly, and this comes fresh off the back of a stellar financial year, and the growth is showing no signs of slowing down. And this news is not just like for Dubai, but it's for those internationally looking to apply for Emirates. So it's just a big call, a big hiring spree that they're going on. So make sure to apply and try your luck. And they do have a very rigorous, what do you say, like
testing process?
Yeah.
Hiring process?
Yeah, like a screening process. Like, they really go through and make sure they have like the best of the best working for Emirates and all of its like verticals, Janata, or whatever it may be. So it's just, for a fact, if you're chosen for Emirates, you're like the golden child.
So true. And you're so right. It's a very rigorous hiring process,
Yeah.
screening process. But, however, we always talk about the big positive stories and the growth Dubai is seeing and the money and everything. And sometimes you might be sitting there thinking, personally, I'm not doing that well. Maybe you've left your job for whatever reason. But, there are job opportunities, as we've just said with Emirates. They have a massive recruitment drive at the moment as they go from strength to strength. So maybe this is your call to get in touch with them, try your luck, and you could be that golden child.
Exactly, and with all the recent news of all of the benefits that come with Emirates, it's just like, if there's airlines you want to be at, you want to be at Emirates. So if you're a pilot, if you know how to ride the planes, steer the wheels.
Yeah, if you just have that in your arsenal, you might be working IT now, but if you've done your pilot course, that's on your CV. Where else?
Oh my God, the other day I was telling my sister I should have just been a pilot. And she's like, yeah, because that's something you can just, go and do a 3-month course on and then come back with like a pilot license. Like, I should have been a pilot. Yeah, I know. She was being sarcastic, and she's just like, yeah.
She here jumped in and said it's a year course just for everyone there.
Is it a year course? I think it's longer than a year. And it's like a lot of money you invest into learning and getting your like piloting license. And she's like, yeah.
It's a dream job for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Speaking of dreams, we bring you a heartwarming story that's going viral right now. These are the stories that make us so proud of the city because you just don't see them every day. So this adorable video of a young Kuwaiti boy went viral. He was talking to just a random newspaper or daily newspaper, and he talked about his wish to go to the Burj Khalifa with his dad. The video went viral, and guess who stepped in to make it happen? Of course, it was Dubai's Crown Prince, after he saw the clip that said, "I'd like to visit Burj Khalifa in Dubai."
my God. And His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Crown Prince of Dubai, announced on social platforms, whoever knows the child brother tells him that I invite him and his family to visit Dubai to see Burj Khalifa and the beautiful destinations of Dubai.
And he made it happen. How amazing. Emirates Post has also shared the video. Where does this happen? You know what's gonna happen right now. This story is going viral. We're about to see loads of videos all around the world of adorable kids in cute setups like their parents will dress. I would do it. Dress your kid up
In a Burj Khalifa costume.
in a Burj Khalifa costume, and they're gonna sit there and they're gonna be like, "Say it, look cuter," and the kids are gonna have to say it 100 times, but it could get you that trip to Dubai.
Oh my God. Oh my.
You know it's gonna. Simran's gonna be like, "I want to fly on Emirates."
Dress up as the plane.
Dress up as crew.
No, that's too basic. You need to go a step further. Dress up as, oh my gosh, dress up as entire first class
bar.
or like the bed costume.
Be the bar. I am the bar.
I am the bar. I identify as a bar. But that is so funny.
It is so sweet. But can we just say how incredible it is that these stories get picked up? Look, this is an adorable one of a boy saying he wants to visit the Burj Khalifa with his dad. We've also seen other stories over the years of the rulers picking out specific stories of, someone working in the RTA who clearly went above and beyond for a passenger.
Yeah.
And finding these individuals and praising them in some way, people who've done well. So this is just a very sweet one, but it's also kind of a thread of commonality that we've seen over the years of them finding videos that kind of touch people's hearts and helping that person in some way. So sweet.
It just shows like our leaders are amazing. Like honestly, when I see documentaries on people talking about the leaders in their countries, like for example, South Korea, there was one documentary that just came out on Netflix about cloning, and it's like how the scientist, he met the South Korean president of the time, and he doesn't meet anyone. Like the president just does not meet anyone. Doesn't matter how achieved you are. Doesn't matter like what all you've done or achievements or allocates you have. Like he doesn't meet you. But he met the scientist only after he was recognized on an international level. So it shows like just how reachable and accessible the leaders in Dubai are.
Massively so.
Yeah.
It's 8:50, which means it is time to bring in a friend of Lovin Dubai. She's worked with us over the years, Sarah Madley. She has penned a new relatable novel. We're going to talk all things the book and also book talk. Are you on it? Is it planning your next read? Certainly it is for me. She's going to be with us right after this short break. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Our guest today is an author that will take contemporary literature to a new era with her new novel, We the Dreamers, a book tackling love, identity crisis, and mental health. It's yet to be published by Sarah. However, Sarah's hoping the TikTok trend Book Talk will help get her novel recognized. Welcome to the show, Sarah Vandy.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
You know, so the last time we hung out, the last time, we went for one of our work ventures, you were telling me you're going to start writing a book and you want to get published. And, that's something you always see yourself doing. And now you've finally done it. After, I think, how many years was this book in the process?
Almost a year and a half.
A year and a half?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations, amazing.
Huge.
Thank you.
Tell us more about the book. Tell us more about yourself.
And why did you decide to write it?
Oh, okay. So the writing part goes back a long way because I've been wanting to be an author since I was, I think, 10 years old. But I've been writing before that. I do remember picking up like a random notebook when I was 6 and just writing in it because I wanted to. Did that at 8 again. Wrote a story about these two twins. I put like these two Snow White stickers that were like laterally inverted, and I'm like, this is one character, this is one character, and this is the story. And I think I've been writing forever. I just didn't realize it. And then at 10, I remember I got this new notebook from my dad, and I was like, I'm gonna write a book in this, and I'm gonna get it published. And my dad said, yes, do it. We're gonna get you published. I said, yeah, let's do it. But of course, that didn't happen. I've been writing lots of novels over the years, and I always leave them incomplete. And this is the first novel which I started and actually finished, and I just knew I had to get it published. And it's also the genre of the novel is contemporary fiction, and I never imagined I would write such a genre because I was always into fantasy, dragons and swords, right? But in 2019, I had this change of heart because at university I was studying journalism, which was a contrast to what I wanted to study, which was literature, right? So journalism put this whole new perspective for me, and then suddenly I found myself thinking, we should write something that's more relatable, that's more modern day. And that's Dubai, because this is home for me. It took me a while to realize that, but I just wanted something that was home here, that would personify the city, that would show life as it is here. So I was like, let's do it. In 2019, I had this idea of writing a book based in Dubai, and the first thing I did was go to my lecturers, Miss Nadia, and I was like, hi, I have this idea, what do you think? So she said, okay, talk to me after class, and she actually sat down with me and she said, so tell me what you have in mind. And I'm like, wow, blah, 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 this is a book in Dubai. And then she was like, that's great. That's better than the other, because she knows all the bad ideas are bad. She's read the worst of my articles. So she was like, yeah, the thing about writing books is that you should always write what you know. So that way you're true to yourself. And of course, people are always interested to know other people's stories. You can't always have the same culture, the same protagonist, telling the same story. No, everyone's unique and people want to read that. And so I took that to heart, and then I wrote what I knew. And I think I started this right after I finished university in 2021. And it took me a year to finish it, and yeah.
So let's go deeper. It's called We the Dreamers. What is the book actually about, and did you draw inspiration from real life?
Oh, that is a good question. So We the Dreamers, as you can guess from the titles, it's about young people. So we have two main characters. One's a girl character, Mahra, and she's an Indian expatriate, and she lives in, not Dubai, she lives in Ajman. You guys know, because I live in Ajman. Making the
struggles real.
Yeah.
Whoa!
So the thing was, I'm biased towards Dubai, yes, but I'm also biased towards Ajman. It's a city I really love because my home is there. So I wanted to put that city in as well. So of course, one of the characters just had to be from Ajman, right? So anyway, we have this Indian expatriate character, Mahra, who is going through this tough time in life where she's having sort of like an existential crisis. I'm sure everyone has that phase in life and they start questioning purpose, the meaning of life. So she's going through that, but really badly, right? And she was always an optimistic person who now suddenly has become cynical. And the sort of dreams that she had, she thinks they're all useless and they don't make sense. So she just stopped being a dreamer. So we have Mahra, who is going through her mental health struggles. This is the beginning of it, but she doesn't realize it. Then we have, on the other hand, our boy character, whose name is Ammar. So he is Emirati. But he's not fully Emirati. I mean, like he's Emirati, but like his mom is Indian and his dad is Emirati, right? So he's also mixed culture that way. And he's the sort of guy who's easygoing, goes through life like it's a breeze. He's super optimistic. He's a social media star. So, you know, he's the sort of extroverted character who lives life one day at a time. And he's the sort of guy who just suddenly goes like, okay, life is much more than just enjoying. I should do great things. So he's just become a dreamer. So we have these two polar opposite characters, one, you know, different in their mindsets. And so faithfully, they meet in a car crash. But they don't meet in a car crash. They have a car crash, and that's their first interaction. But then obviously nobody talks in a car crash. So, you know, they have a car crash. They go home. A couple of weeks later, at one of a mutual relatives' wedding, they meet again, and she doesn't remember him. He does remember her. So, of course, they strike up a conversation. And from then on out, it's yeah, the whole novel starts properly, I guess, from then on out.
Oh, got you. Amazing.
So interesting. And like very relatable personality traits over there. And just like, it's so, I mean, I was going to ask you, so what actually happens at the end?
No, don't.
I could give it, not a spoiler as such, but most people don't expect this, but I'm just going to come out and say it. Towards the end, there's a...
You can't
say it!
Say it! No,
it's a thematical thing. It's not a spoiler.
Okay, fine.
It's a thematical thing. And I think...
I hate spoilers of books.
I love
that
reading.
Is me. And then if I know the end, I'm like, what's the point? Because reading is... Yeah, it takes time. And
yeah, that's
anyway,
true.
You can continue.
There is the pandemic at the end. So this my story actually starts around towards the end of 2019. So my characters faced the pandemic in the beginning of 2020, March around. So the thing is, what really happened, it's not a spoiler again, but because most people have gone through that. So, you know, the pandemic affected everyone differently. For an introvert like Mahra, the pandemic, the lockdowns where she got seclusion was like a blessing for her. But for Ammar, who was extroverted, the lockdowns had a, you know, detrimental effect on his mental health. And so we have the tables turned for our characters towards the end.
Wow.
And I thought that was very interesting because I didn't know I was writing that. At this point, I was not even the writer. Somebody else was writing this, and I was like, I want to know what happens next. So, yeah, so that's all I'm going to say. No more spoilers.
What does happen next?
No
more spoilers. So I'd love to know, what has the journey been like as a young writer attempting to get a book published?
Oh, it's been harrowing. It's well, not that harrowing. The thing is, I'm going to the traditionally publishing route. So in publishing, there are 3 routes you can take. One's the traditional one, where you reach out for a literary agent who will see if they think your work is good enough, if they want to represent you, and then they will voluntarily represent you and then send your book to the big publishers, you know, who will then give you a contract, and you know how it goes on from there. Then you have what they call hybrid publishing, which is also called vanity publishing. It sounds kind of... so what you do is you go to a publisher and you pay them to publish your book. So now in Dubai, the publishing market's still very new, and a lot of publishers have popped up, but most of them have this hybrid sort of model. So I've been approached by a Dubai publisher who wanted to publish my book, but because of this model, I was unwilling to do it because I said, you know, like there's something to me that I would like to be traditionally published, because that way you can make, not that hybrid publishers are not talented, it's just that way you can know that you've written something people want to read, and if somebody else voluntarily takes on your work, that means you must have done something great. And the third one is self-publishing, where you can, of course, just directly publish it or put it on Amazon, Kindle, Kindle direct publishing, and just put it up online for people to read. So I'm going through the traditional publishing, which I know is very difficult, but I'm persistent. So
well, there's many ways to get your book recognized. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Yep. Yes. But I just want to go back a little bit and ask you about like the process of writing the book. So just run me through, like, how did it happen? Like for you, was it you planned out the chapters first, or you wrote the book, kept it going as it was, and then you did the chapters at the very end? Like as you finished, you categorized the stories.
So the thing is, I'm a very chaotic writer. For my first novel, I know most people go chapter 1, chapter 2, but no. One day I'd wake up and say, I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to write a sad scene, let's do it. And then I would pour all my emotions out and write that scene where I know this character is going to struggle through that issue. So I would, you know, sort of channel my emotions into my character, and then one day if I woke up happy, I'm like, let's write the happy scene.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I'm very chaotic that way. But sometimes, of course, you can't do that always. Sometimes even if I was in a bad mood, I had to sit down and just write the happy scene because I had to get my book done on time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
That's
so
amazing. That's such
interesting.
an interesting process. So I have to tell you something. There's 2 or 3 books that I've read. It starts with us. By the way, have you guys read these? It starts with us. It ends with us. And I'm reading Daisy Jones and the Six, which, by the way, has just been made into a show, and the other one has been made into a movie.
Amazon Prime, yes.
I didn't know that these started as trends on Book Talk, and that's why they became so famous.
Yes.
So for those people who don't know, first of all, can you explain what Book Talk is?
So there's a niche in TikTok where people just talk about books, characters, and everything book related, and that's basically called Book Talk. And on Book Talk, people fangirl to the nines. I mean, not in a bad way. They just share their love for reading, share their love for writers and authors, and that in recent days has become really big because
It's amazing.
Authors get recognized. We had like you mentioned, Colleen Hoover starts with us, ends with us. She, I guess nobody knew. I'm not saying nobody knew her, but she became a big deal right after TikTok. We had that Madeline Miller's The Song of Achilles. It got published like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and one day the author woke up and she's like, my book's on the New York Times bestseller list. How is this happening? And then somebody, from the newspaper reached out to her and said, your book's viral, it's trending on TikTok, and then people love it so much.
TikTok's done it again.
TikTok's done it again. And for such a cynical person as me who never believed in TikTok, I was like, maybe I should talk about my book on Book Talk.
Yeah. So Book Talk is what exactly for those like me who don't? I'm not really sure. So is it like an account? Is it a hashtag?
No, it's let's say it's a hashtag where, for example, anything book related, when a creator makes content, they will tag it as hashtag, and the book community will obviously get that content. Like for example, if you have other interests, like say you like going to the gym, you're gonna get a lot of workouts in your account, in your for your
Algorithm.
feed. And so anything that's gym related will be in gym talk, right? So this is Book Talk. Anything that's book related will come to you.
So have you been using it to get We the Dreamers seen more widely?
Yes, I have. It was a very also impulsive decision in the middle of the night. I was like, what is it that I'm doing wrong, right? Of course, publishing is a long way, but I just, of course, when you do something which you really believe in, you want to make sure it gets out there. So I said, why not try Book Talk? It looks like something that just might work. So I started making these videos on Book Talk. So like most of the writers, they go on camera and they start speaking. Well, that's not something I do often. So I was like, no, let's just put aesthetics. Let's put videos and those emotional feel sort of quotes, or like just to get them feel of what my novel's about.
Yeah.
So I started making those videos. And it was a lot of fun making them because I love the comments. People like, oh my God, what happens next? I want to read this. Oh my God, thank God for you writing this for us expats. We're finally going to be seen.
Oh,
I love those sort of
wow.
comments. And so I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. So, my day's made.
That is so amazing. We love that you're getting the response, and a massive congratulations for getting the book written and hopefully to get it published. So what is your message to young authors today after going through the whole process?
My biggest message would be like, if you want to write a book, just sit down and write it. I used to see a lot of other writers give the same advice, and I was always like, I get it, but no, that's the thing. When you finally get words onto a page and you realize, yes, this is what I've been hoping for so long, and when you realize, okay, I've done it, then you will come to that point when you're like, I am an author today. I've written a lot over the years, but it was not until today that I know that I'm an author. So just sit down and write and be persistent. Don't give up. I know things are hard, things take time, but all good things happen in time. So
that is so amazing to hear. Well, massive congratulations. What you've done is so impressive. And now you're officially author Sarah Madani.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We truly appreciate your time, and we cannot wait to read the book when it is published officially.
Soon, inshallah. I've sent it to the publisher and they take really long to respond. So we have 6 months to go for the publisher to respond.
Yalla!
Yalla, publishers.
Come on!
You heard it here first. We the Dreamers. It's about to blow up on Book Talk, TikTok. But you can get there first, guys. That is all we have time for on the Lovin Dubai show this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're back with you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye.
Bye.